How a WA engineer escaped a life as a child soldier. To view the full article, click the first link in the description below. When Yuot Alaak was 10 years old, he trained to be a child soldier. He was living in an Ethiopian refugee camp with about 16,000 boys, there without their parents, who had walked for weeks from Sudan, frightened and starving, driven from their homes by the civil war. The Lost Boys, as they were known, were malnourished and most only aged between 8 and 12. Nevertheless, they were preparing to learn to fight, work and fire a machine gun. Yuot had traveled to the Pinyudu camp with his mother, brother and sister, but he was determined to join his friends and serve his country as a freedom fighter. His horrified mother refused at first, but Yuot, desperate not to be left behind, cried and argued and refused to eat until she relented. The little boy packed his only possessions, sandals made from old truck tires, shorts, 2 t-shirts, and joined the exodus to the training camp, marching through wet season mud under the baking sun. For 3 months, he endured beatings, limited water, little food and backbreaking labor and physical training, before graduating as a proud soldier. A man. Yuot's story could easily have ended there. Many of his peers did not survive to adulthood. As the Civil War raged, an estimated 4 million people were displaced and 2 million perished, either in the conflict, marked by mass killings and countless human rights violations, or from the famine and disease the war caused. Exact numbers are difficult to determine, but tens of thousands of children served as soldiers. But Yuot's father, Mecak Ajang Alaak, a community leader who had himself been imprisoned, tortured and thought dead by his family, was determined to see a different future for his sons and those boys when they returned to Pinyudu. Ajang, a former headmaster with a degree in mathematics and physics, was in charge of education at Pinyudu, organizing teachers and steadfastly resisting pressure to send his students to fight. But as the conflict drew closer, when Yuot Alaak was 10 years old, he trained to be a child soldier. He was living in an Ethiopian refugee camp with about 16,000 boys, there without their parents, who had walked for weeks from Sudan, frightened and starving, driven from their homes by the civil war. To view the full article, click the first link in the description below.